Maya ran her fingers through the luxurious curls of her hair, watching her reflection in the mirror. The wig looked flawless, just as promised. She'd never felt so bold, so beautiful. But then, a whisper, a faint, chilling, and unmistakable voice came. Elena. She spun around, heart racing, but no one was there. Laughing nervously, she blamed her imagination. That night, though, the dreams began. She was running in heels, calling out in a voice that wasn't hers, feeling emotions that weren't hers. And each time she wore the wig, the dreams grew even stronger, pulling her deeper into memories that weren't hers. That's when Maya realized that something was terribly, terribly wrong. In a city where style and luxury reigned supreme, there was a small exclusive boutique called Soul Strands. It was a boutique where human hair wigs were sold. The boutique's human hair wigs were the ultimate fashion statement. Each one was so impeccably crafted that it put every other wig shop to shame. The store offered only the finest options: bone straight wigs, luxury pixie curls, bouncy layered waves, frontals, bob wigs, and so much more that looked like they stepped right off a runway. People were willing to spend so much money to buy wigs from Soul Strands. No expense was spared, and everyone who wore a Soul Strand hair seemed like they had transformed, like they were exuding a newfound confidence. Maya, a mother of two, and a woman who had felt like she'd been increasingly invisible, had been saving up for months for her very first purchase from Soul Strands. She heard about Soul Strands through whispers at work and colleagues gossiping about it, wearing their flawless bob wigs and pixie curls. Their hair seemed to flow and bounce in a way that made them look effortlessly glamorous. Ever since her colleagues at work started appearing with their glamorous new wigs, each one looked like they had just stepped out of a magazine. Maya knew that she wanted to join their ranks. One of her co-workers frequently wore the new bob wig from Soul Strands, and she had instantly gone from wallflower to the office diva practically overnight. Another friend from the office wore the shop's signature pixie curls, and she seemed like she had gained a new classy, mysterious allure to her. Seeing her colleagues toss their perfectly styled hair gave Maya a pang of envy, and she really wanted to be part of it. Finally, she had saved up enough money and was ready for a change in her appearance. She worked up the courage and the cash to visit the boutique. When she entered, the boutique was everything she imagined and more. Sleek black and gold decor, mirrored walls, and hair on display that looked like works of art. The owner, Tessa, was an epitome of style and fashion herself, and she guided Maya through the racks of wigs before finally recommending a long, bouncy curl wig that she said would suit her face and bring out her natural glow. Maya took one look in the mirror and couldn't deny it. She looked fabulous. Gone was the tired mom, replaced by a new woman who felt confident, radiant, and ready to take on the world. She happily paid and strutted out, her new curls bouncing with each step. Maya went home very happily that day, excited at the new wig that she had just acquired. She was absolutely in love with the hair. However, that night when she removed the wig and dropped it on the wig stand, she had a weird night. She retired to her bed to sleep, but then things took an odd turn. Maya had a dream. No, more like a memory. This dream felt more like a memory. She was sitting by a window, gazing out at a city skyline that was unfamiliar, yet felt strangely close to her heart. She could feel her emotions bubbling up. Not hers. They didn't feel like her emotions, but felt like her emotions at the same time. She felt a mix of excitement and sadness. She brushed it off the next morning as probably leftover excitement from the big purchase that she had made. But even after that night, every night after then, the dreams became even more intense. One night, She found herself wandering through a crowded market, wearing stiletto heels that her real self would ordinarily not wear. She didn't think she could ever pull off heels like that, but she seemed to be doing so pretty well in this dream. She was searching frantically for someone in this crowded market. In another dream, another day, she was laughing in front of a mirror as a stylist ran her hands through her bone straight wave, the kind that she had never ever worn in real life. But it wasn't Maya's reflection that stared back at her in the mirror. It was someone else, a young woman with sad eyes and a wistful smile. The woman looked somewhat mixed race, maybe Mexican or something. Then, Maya started noticing little changes in her real life. She would catch herself saying things in a slightly different accent than she normally would, and her walk had taken on a graceful, more poised quality. Even her husband remarked on it one day, calling her Hollywood as a joke. Strangers would stop and tell her that she looked familiar and she seemed familiar, and then they would walk away, scratching their heads in confusion. Maya found it odd at first, but she eventually just decided that it was probably because of she was in that neighborhood for a long time and people had seen her quite frequently. So that is why they probably thought she seemed familiar. On one particular day, Maya was out shopping for groceries when she passed by a mirror and stopped in her tracks. As she brushed a stray curl off her shoulder, a name popped up in her head: Elena. It was a name that she didn't know, but it felt oddly close to her, like the name of an old friend or something. But she didn't have any memory of ever encountering anybody with the name Elena. She couldn't shake this feeling off that somehow this wig probably was holding memories, emotions that weren't hers. The thought freaked her out seriously, but she pushed it aside, chalking it up as stress or exhaustion. She didn't want to believe in such superstitious things. However, things escalated one day when she went out for lunch with her coworker, Tina. They were deep in conversation when Tina stopped mid sentence, staring at her with wide eyes. Maya, I swear you're looking more and more like her, Tina whispered. Like who? Maya asked, confused. Elena, you know, the Mexican influencer. We used to go to the same stylist that time when I was in Mexico. Beautiful lady, famous for her bouncy curls. And the weird thing is, she passed away just last year. I heard it was a car accident or something. Maya felt a shiver run down her spine. She excused herself and rushed to her car, trying to shake the airy thought and feeling that her beloved wig might have actually been haunted. Desperate for answers, Maya returned to Soul Strands and confronted Tessa, the owner, asking if there was something different about her wig. With a calm expression and a smile on her face, Tessa said, these wigs are high quality and crafted from hair sourced directly from real donors, she said casually, as though it was nothing out of the ordinary. That's why they have, a character, she said jokingly. Feeling no closer to understanding but now thoroughly spooked, Maya took to the internet, searching for any stories about haunted wigs or possessed wigs. After hours of scrolling and scrolling, she found an online forum where people shared unsettling experiences with wigs that they had also purchased from Soul Strands. They called it Soul Strand Syndrome, and some swore that their wigs carried echoes of the lives of their previous owners. A user named Spirit Seeker 2020 seemed to have a solution, though posting that a spiritualist named Mama Grace had helped them cut the cord and free themselves from the spirits of these wigs' owners. Maya was hesitant about things like this, but she was intrigued because she had begun to get really uncomfortable with the wig and the spirits that followed it. She booked an appointment, and the next day, she found herself in Mama Grace's small candlelit office. Mama Grace, a woman with a warm smile and firm handshake, listened carefully as Maya's story was explained by her, and she nodded knowingly. You're dealing with echoes, my dear. Sometimes a person's true essence and fragments of their soul lingers in their hair. It's rare, but it does happen, she explained. Mama Grace instructed Maya to sit and began a ritual with sage and a bowl of hot water. She chanted softly, performing what she called a cord cutting ceremony to sever the connection between Maya and the spirit of Elena. By the end, Maya felt an incredible lightness, as though the memories and strange habits were finally fading away. Afterwards, Mama Grace placed the wig in a sealed bag and advised Maya to bury it far, far away. And maybe next time, stick with synthetic hair, she added with a chuckle. Relieved and a little embarrassed by the whole ordeal, Maya thanked Mama Grace and followed her instructions, disposing the wig in a pack at the edge of town. That night, Maya went to bed wig free and spirit free, feeling like herself for the first time in weeks. No dreams of city skylines, no phantom emotions, just a peaceful sleep. When she woke up, she glanced in the mirror, running her hands through her natural hair with a smile. It was nice to feel normal again. From that day on, Maya swore off human hair wigs and embraced her natural hair. Whenever she passed by Soul Strands on her way to work, she would shake her head and smile, thinking of Elena and the wild, surreal journey that she had been on. Bone straight, pixie curls, bouncy waves. You're all lovely, she'd say to herself, but I'm sticking with what I've got from now on.